Welcome back to the Temple of Tomes with your host, Indie Comics Jones. This is episode 65 on August 10th, 2020. Today we're going to look at Image Comics Die, not to be confused with Die, 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 the title by Robert Kirkman. No, this one is Die by Kieran Gillen. And I'll tell you, I've got like the first 7 issues here. We're going to take a look at a couple of them, just give it a quick rundown on the story. Basically, what it is Dungeons and Dragons, but it is a special set of die, and I want to get you in here so you can see. Kieran Gillen is the writer, Stephanie Hayes is the artist, and also doing the covers. The covers have been really artistic. I think this is a very popular book when it came out. Everybody was very interested in it because of the Dungeons and Dragons theme. And what it is, somebody brings a special set of dice to one of the game. Now, one of the things, I didn't really care for this story. I thought I was going to love it because of the interest of Dungeons and Dragons and whatnot. But the story was a little bit drawn out. It was a little convoluted. It was a little bit confusing. So the main points were easy enough to understand. And I think there was the basis for a good story if they just had the right spice in it. But unfortunately, this is not what happened, at least in my case. And I think the numbers kind of reveal that a little bit. There are a lot of people that have hung on to this, though. First issue sold about 29,000, or should say shipped 29,000, and then there was multiple shipments after that of smaller quantities, but it started out 29,000. At the end of the first arc, which was the 5th issue, they shipped about 19,500, and the start of the second arc, that was at 22,000. So those are pretty decent numbers for Image. And by the end of that arc, they were at 17,000. So it's had some staying power throughout. And that last arc ended at issue 10. So started at 29 at the first shipment, and at the number issue 10, they were at 17,000. So that's pretty good holding power. The story, like I mentioned, has 6 youths, and here you get a good look at them. And one of the things right off the bat, these guys seem to me to be a little too hip for playing D&D. You can kind of see them here. One vapes, one's I think a skateboarder or whatnot. So anyway, the guy brings the magical dice to this game, a special game. They really don't want to play it first, but he brings them out, and they're all kind of like, well, okay, that looks kind of good. But what happens is, after they start playing for a while, they actually get sucked into the game, not unlike Jumanji's. The mom goes up there to give them refreshments, and they're gone. Only to appear 2 years later in the middle of a road somewhere. But instead of 6 of them, there's only 5 left. And one of them comes back missing her arm. You can kind of see her holding it there. You can't really see it back there. One of the things that I had issue with was it was really hard for me to tell the difference between some of these characters at times, partly in the all the kind of coloring and the drawing. The characters kind of look alike. Then we speed ahead 25 years, and they're still missing the one guy, wondering what happens. And they decide over drinks, I guess, to go back and get back into the game. So they look up, they get all 5 that survived, and they go back, and they think they're going to be able to pull their friend out if they go back. That's kind of the thing. They've all got separate lives now. Some have divorces, some have kids, some have been very wildly successful, some not so successful. So they decide to play the game again, and the magical thing occurs again, and they get sucked into the game. And the first issue is actually like 36, 38 pages for $3.99, so it was a good deal. And then, boom, they're back, and they're in their costumes, respective characters. And the story begins again. So that's the end of the first issue. Now, the highlight for me in this whole book and the whole run that they had was in one of the issues they meet up with J.R.R. Tolkien, and that's kind of cool, that he's there. But it wasn't actually in a dungeon. It was more like in kind of like a wasteland. Like they're crossing these wastelands all the time. They go to this tower. I believe it was of emerald glass or something like that. I can't remember. It's been a while. This actually came back out. This is kind of a blast from the past. This actually came out December 2019. However, it is an ongoing series now, and I think issue 12 just came out. So it's still going pretty strong. I want to mention that the writer also is known, and the artist, which was, I think her name was Stephanie Hans. Stephanie Hans. Let me get back here. Yeah, Stephanie Hans. They both collaborated on a series called The Divine and the Wicked and the Divine. I'm sorry, and that was a very popular series as well for Image. So they came back with this one. I can't really recommend it because it does get confusing at times. We'll take a look at the second issue a little bit. I just have trouble telling which character was which at times. It would get real dark, and the shadings and the hues of the colors. Like you'd see this, and it was kind of like you'd have to look and try to figure out who was who and who was where. That occurred a lot, unfortunately. But a lot of people stayed with it. They liked the action in it. I thought I was a little underwhelmed and confused through it. So I can't recommend this, but it is an ongoing book. There is a number of people that have really bought into it. Let's look at some of the other covers real quick. Okay, this is cover 1. We have cover 2. Here's cover 3. They all have this kind of graphic on the front. Here's cover 4. Okay, let me reach down, here's 5. That's a pretty nice cover. There's 6 and 7. So 6 was the start of the second arc. Okay. So, not a recommend. However, it is a popular book. So you might want to look into it if you think it is something that looks appealing to you. It was not that appealing to me, and I feel I gave it a good try. So there you have it. Die, but not die, just die. Okay, please subscribe, please click a like or dislike, and please leave comments. If you like this book a lot, tell me why, because I'm a little mystified. I was a little confused through it. And I didn't think it was as exciting as the story it sounded. It was not as exciting. So I was a little, a little disappointed at that. I just thought it would be really good. And you look at these covers and how clear everything is. If it was more like that too, I think that might have helped me. But it gets kind of blurry and hazed over a lot. So please let me know what you think. Subscribe. If I already said that, I'm sorry. But this is Indie Comics Jones from the Temple of Tomes. Once again, I'm glad you could stop by. Good day to you.